just a few remarks to start our meeting. First of all, thank you so much once again for coming. It's a big pleasure for me to welcome all of you here in the residence of the Russian Ambassador. I am happy to introduce Honorable Deputy Minister for Industry and Trade of the Russian Federation, Mr. Aleksey Gruzdev. And Mr. Gruzdev is also the Russian co-chair of the Russian-Philippine Joint Commission on Trade and Economic Cooperation. So now I would like to ask Mr. Gruzdev just to explain his special honorable mission here in Manila.
Thank you, Ambassador. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I'd like to thank you for coming and giving me a chance to brief you on the results of my visit to Manila. Actually, it is the involvement of our agreements with my co-chair, Mr. Rodolfo Sferina, Secretary for Department of Industry and Trade of the Philippines, to explore new ways, new fields of cooperation between both our countries. And this time we decided to focus on several sectors, including pharmaceuticals and medical equipment, infrastructure, mainly airport development, railways, and also we decided to learn the possibilities of deepening cooperation in the power sector, including LNG. So that is the mission in brief, and we also invited representatives of respected companies in these sectors to join us. More than 15 companies altogether joining me on this trip. And for these less than 2 days, we've visited Department for Healthcare. We've had discussions with the Secretary of Department for Transportation. Also, we will have another meeting after this press conference with the Department of Industry and Trade. And we also had paid the visits to several corporate sector representatives, several companies here, just to match our products, our suggestions, our ideas with the demand from the Philippines business sector. Thank you.
So, dear friends, my proposal. So, unfortunately, the time is quite limited, so don't waste time, please. You have a unique opportunity to torture not only the Russian ambassador, but also Honorable Deputy Minister. Please.
First, I would like to mention that our trade is developing quite rapidly. If we analyze the statistics for the last year, we've witnessed a growth of 100% in our trade turnover, reaching a level of $1.2 billion. Not that much if we talk about Russia and Philippines, these big economies, but still it is much more than the previous year, and both exports and imports are growing. Russia is exporting about $800 million of commodities and goods to the Philippines and importing $470 million annually. As for the agreements during this visit, the idea was not to sign contracts, MOUs, but to explore new possibilities. Because, as I mentioned, our trade and our economic relations, unfortunately, are not that diversified as we wish for them to be. Russian, if we see the structure, look into the structure of our trade turnover, Russian export to Philippines is mainly represented by 4 big articles. One is mineral products, mainly oil and gas. It's about 40% of Russian exports to the Philippines. The second big part is metals and metal products, mainly steel products. It's about 28% of Russian exports to the Philippines. The third part is agricultural products, and it's about 26%. Then goes timber and paper and cardboard. 5%. That's not diversified. And the same thing goes with the Philippines exports to Russia. So that was the idea. Identify new sectors, identify new possibilities, and these are pharmaceuticals and medical equipment, very important in very social-oriented sector. And we propose innovative pharmaceuticals and equipment to the Philippines, and we do hope that this visit would evolve into contracts, into agreements in joint cooperation. Then civil aviation is another sector. We are the leading producer of aircraft and helicopters in the world, well known, and we also introduced our helicopters to the Philippines market. Different types, light, medium, heavy helicopters that can be utilized in different sectors, in tourism, transport, in patrolling, and security, firefighting, and so even flying ambulances as well, take into consideration that big territory of the Philippines. Shipbuilding, including speedboats, hydrofoil speedboats, and other sectors. So we do hope that under the supervision of our Joint Commission and thanks to these kind of missions, we would witness new agreements and new contracts. Thank you.
Military equipment.
Yes, right. You know that His Excellency President Duterte will visit Russia again very soon, from October 1 to October 5. And a bilateral talk between President Duterte and President Putin will take place in the city of Sochi, on the Russian Black Sea coast. You know, Sochi hosted the Olympic Winter Games in 2014. It's a very nice city. Yes, right. A number of agreements will be signed during the visit by His Excellency President Duterte. So, what kind of agreements? So, please be patient. Okay? All of us, so it will be announced very soon.
What sectors? Which the sector?
Different sectors.
Thank you.
Because all of us want to diversify our cooperation. And that's the main purpose of very timely and useful mission of Honorable Deputy Minister. So, what I can say right now is that our country is committed to help the Philippines to increase your defense capabilities. And I'm sure that by combining joint efforts, of course, we'll do it.
How? How do you intend to help the Philippines increase its defense capabilities?
So I explained that many times. So we are open for any option of cooperation in this field. So we are ready to supply sophisticated arms and weapons. We are ready to help your country in staff training, of course, joint drills and military exercises. We are ready to coordinate our efforts on international venues, and of course, we are open even to transfer relevant defense technologies in order to help your country to develop your own defense industry. So you see, our aim is to build, to establish a long-term strategic cooperation. And it will be, I'm sure, in compliance with the interests of both our nations, and it will also contribute to the regional peace and stability.
Thanks, Sir. I'm Roy Candelo from Pilipinas Russia. I would just like to ask, are there any concerns that Russia wants the Philippines to address so that you might want us to correct and stuff like that?
Well, when we talk about trade and investment, market access and investment climate are the things that become crucial for the partners to make their business decisions. So, of course, we also discuss within our Development Commission these kind of issues. What can be the incentives? What are the regulations? And that's why Yesterday, we paid a visit to the Department of Healthcare, because if we talk about cooperation in pharmaceuticals, in medical equipment, certification, application for registration is very crucial, so we need to see the procedures and analyze the procedures and make this kind of access very prompt and viable and quick, because if we talk about the pharmaceuticals, it's very important for them to reach the end user as quick as possible. The same thing with agriculture, and when you ask about the contracts, I do believe that new contracts are coming on this side, on the agricultural side, because recently we've registered the access to the poultry meat market here in the Philippines. There were 4 enterprises from Russia designated and having obtaining the right to supply poultry meat, and then we are now, and 2 more enterprises from Philippines were entitled the right to supply fishery products to Russia. So I believe agricultural sector will be growing, and last year we witnessed a very big supply of grain to the Philippines. About 1 million tons of grain was supplied for the year. So that is the sector. So the idea is just to have this sound measures and on the market access and the incentives for the project. The other thing is we do hope that the government of the Philippines will identify the priority sectors for us to be present here. Because what is our idea? Not try to sell what we want to sell, but try to suggest what is of high demand here in your country, which is going with the importance of your national high priority. So that is why we're starting the program of Build, Build, Build. That is why we propose our automobiles, our vehicles here to meet the public transport program needs. Our well-known producer of light commercial vehicles, Gas Group, is present here, and is starting its supplies of LCVs, of minibuses that can be then utilized in this public transport. Kamaz is another well-known producer of trucks that is also starting tapping the market here in the Philippines. The shipbuilding industry, I've mentioned already, speedboats, hydrofoil speedboats that can be utilized in this island-to-island transportation, and all these projects. But what we want to know, whether they're demanded here, whether you're waiting for these kind of projects, and then we can adjust our policy and find the appropriate solutions. Then the third thing, what we want, complex and very profound cooperation. It's not like buy and sell and then that's it, that's the deal. No. If we talk about aviation, it's of course including the supply, MRO, then training, just like Ambassador mentioned in this military technical cooperation approach, the same in the civil sectors. Want it to be profound, long-standing coverage, so we are ready even to establish joint ventures and start manufacturing here in the Philippines, then in order to penetrate the ASEAN market as well, using having the Philippines as a basis. So these are the ideas, and then this whole thing is the partner. Of course, we do understand if you go to the market, it's very difficult to be on your own, to count on your own. You need to have a partner and your guidance in the market. So that is what we're expecting from our friends and partners in the Philippines. Just recommend us a very experienced entrepreneurs to be our partners here in the region in development cooperation. Thank you. Yes, I can name. We've met with San Miguel group and also his name again, Udana group. These two we met. The reason was because they had a very diversified business here in the Philippines and abroad, And we wanted to discuss the possibility of widening the scope of our infrastructure cooperation, and airports is one of the options that we're looking into. According to the plans of the government of the Philippines, there will be several airports newly built or modernized, and so we are here to suggest our technologies, our equipment for air traffic control, navigation, landing systems, security, luggage tracing, and even just physical security as well. So that is why we also met the private sector. But airport infrastructure is not the only topic we discussed. We just introduced our automobile industry, manufacturers, aviation sector, just all the projects that I've named. Also railways, that was one of the topics, railroad building and reconstruction. Russia is one of the leading in this sector. We have Russian Railways Corporation that is like an EPC contractor within the country. And when we are talking about the projects abroad, it's not only railways, big railways, but also underground construction, underground railways construction. Russia is also leading manufacturer of rolling stock. So we also just discussed the possibility of having this kind of cooperation. Russia has about 85,000 kilometers of railways in the country, so you do understand that we have a certain experience in this sector, and we can share it with our friends in the Philippines.
First of all, thank you for your question. It's quite relevant. First of all, I would like to clarify that it's about electronic visas, which will be processed for free, only for visiting the city of St. Petersburg and the surrounding region. And the length of these visits shouldn't be more than 8 days. So it's not for any trip. Okay, it's only for St. Petersburg and the vicinity of that city. That's all. But at the same time, of course, just for information, now a draft agreement on simplification of visa procedures between our two countries is under consideration, and I hope step by step, so we'll make relevant visa procedures as simple as possible, and I'm assuring you that it won't be an obstacle for people-to-people contacts. Of course, we are committed to create the most favorable conditions for people-to-people contacts, including business people to business people. And if anyone wants to visit Russia, please just let us know. So all of you get a Russian visa quickly and smoothly. Don't worry.
Well, first of all, the financial sector and banking sector is very important when we talk about economic cooperation, because and we do discuss the issue within the Intergovernmental Commission, because this kind of infrastructure is crucial for business people. If we don't have banks and financial institutions accompanying the deals, then the deals are more complicated to be accomplished. And we do look forward to establishing direct payment system between our two countries, and having more deals being accomplished using our currencies, just apart from the euro and the dollar. Unfortunately, right now, 97% of all deals are run in USD and euro. We would like to raise the share of our national currencies in bilateral trade turnover, and so these direct accounts would benefit for trade. As for the national programs, we are keen to be part of it. And it's not only because we can then have the right to take part in those government procurement system, but it's because it is vital and it's needed here in the country. So through taking part in it, we can make a contribution to the development of the Philippines. So I've mentioned one is airport development. The other one is road infrastructure, and railways is part of this, because infrastructure is very crucial, transport connectivity for country development and for the goods to be circulating in the market. Aviation and this service. So that is why we bring our regional jets, just introduced our regional jets here, because ASEAN is a very big community, traveling community, and so we can also utilize regional jets as a community means of transport. Construction sector, maybe we can compete in that. Hospitals. That is why I just mentioned pharmaceuticals, medical equipment. We would like to contribute to this sector and even be part of that program announcing that fight and the combat that the President Duterte is just standing for combating drug addiction, and we have our technologies, we have equipment that can be also supplied to the market as well. That's it. Of course, I've mentioned that automobile industry, our minibuses, our vans, our LCVs can be part of this modernization program in the Philippines. I strongly believe there will be some improvement, because every time our leaders meet, they get very crucial agreements, and they give sound signals for the business society how to develop cooperation. So we do hope that a lot of sectors, including different sectors of economy, agriculture, space, nuclear power, utilization, industrial sectors would see much improvement. And as I'm informed, a big business delegation is to accompany the President during his visit. So we believe there will be a lot of meetings between the business sector, and I hope there will be new ideas, new projects that we on the government side may support. Yes, Russia is a leading oil and gas exporter in the world, and we do develop several projects, LNG projects. Our Novatech company has developed international cooperation. Maybe you've heard about Yamal LNG project, which is now being implemented, about 16 million tons of LNG annually. Another big project in Russia run by this company is Arctic LNG2. It's also about 17 million tons of LNG annually. And we do understand that any developing economy, in order to have the sustainable development, they need power. So we also studied the possibility of supplying LNG or implementing jointly LNG infrastructure projects here in the Philippines. But of course, we're now only tapping the market. We need for our companies to make feasibility studies. It also depends on the pricing in order to have these kind of projects efficient on the economic side. So we do hope that finally these ideas, suggestions will evolve into strong projects, but we're not on that stage right now. We're now just studying the market.